All right, are we live? We're live. It's been a bit. How are you, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I had been doing these regularly on Wednesdays, but because that's when I usually have my day shift, but I have a Tuesday day shift. It's my daughter's birthday. She's 5, that's why. And so I'm in here on Tuesday and going to start making it a habit to get in here once a week to talk about whatever we need to talk about. Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, Western, Michigan, MSU, high school sports, whatever the subject may be. The pressing matters at hand for the week. Hopefully some of you will let us know that you're watching. If you have any questions, give me a shout, and I will do my best. But with that, I'm going to jump in. Last night, Monday Night Football, big win for the Lions as they head into the bye week off a 24-9 drubbing of a very good Bucs team, although they were fairly depleted, especially at the wide receiver position. We'll talk more about that in a second. But again, an emphatic 24-9 win. Your big star last night, Jahmyr Gibbs, who is just electric. He is just so smooth, speed and power. Career high, 218 yards from scrimmage, 136 on the ground, 82 receiving yards, a couple of rushing touchdowns, including a career high 78-yard touchdown. Gibbs also the first player with at least 135 yards rushing and 80 receiving yards in the same game since Chris Johnson of the Titans, very similar player in 2009. Some of you may remember that was the year Johnson went over 2,000 yards rushing. He was electric as well. So Gibbs just lighting it up this season. Last year, sort of a 1A and 1B scenario with David Montgomery, but Gibbs just too good not to get the bulk of the carries there. And as much as we love Knuckles, Jahmyr is a very special running back. Jared Goff, efficient, not spectacular, efficient, 20-29, 240 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Amon-Ra looked like he was going to put up some monster numbers. Finished with 6 for 86 and a touchdown. I think virtually all that production coming in the first half. I know the touchdown did. I know at one point he had 5 grabs for roughly 80 yards, so didn't really do anything in the second half, but still outstanding stat line. Lions now 13-3 in night games under Dan Campbell. Do with that what you will. They've also won 5 straight Monday Night Football games. I don't know what the record is for Monday Night Football wins in a row. I did hear during the second Monday night game last night, the Seahawks and Texans, that the Seahawks had won 10 straight Monday Night Football games at one point under Pete Carroll. And I believe, I want to say the old Raiders or someone had run off a real long streak as well. I believe Mike Tomlin is very good with the Steelers on Monday Night Football as well. But we'll see if they can make a run. Whatever that record is, we'll figure it out. Obviously a very, very good football team. The Lions defense just absolutely ferocious. Who joined us? Jeanette from Coldwater. Jeanette, I remember you. You always check in with us whenever we are on live. I appreciate that. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you're doing well down there. Lions defense, ferocious. I'll say it a second time. 4 sacks at Baker Mayfield last night, 8 quarterback hits, 4 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble and a recovery by Aiden Hutchinson, 1 interception as well, which was just a fantastic play. Mayfield, who came in as arguably the leading MVP candidate, just 28 of 50 for 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He'd also led the Bucs to 4 comeback wins in the final minute of the fourth quarter, which either tied or is already the NFL record. And that was just 6 games into the season. He'd been incredible leading this Bucs team in the first 6 weeks of the season. But his wide receiver core really hampered last night. Chris Godwin still out. Lost Mike Evans to a collarbone injury, which is going to end Evans' record of the shares with Jerry Rice of, I think it's 11 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons to begin a career. Evans had already been out for a while with a hammy. He's going to be out 8 weeks with a collarbone injury, so that's going to end that streak. The fabulous rookie from Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka, who had just returned from a hamstring injury, may or may not have been at full strength. He had 4 catches for 58 yards. So the big concern was, the Lions were without starting quarterback Terrion Arnold, who, by the way, could return after the bye from that shoulder injury, and their other starting corner, TJ Reed, who's on IR and can't return until week 10 at the earliest. So a few weeks ago, it looked like, this could be a horrific matchup for Detroit without two cornerbacks and those great Bucs wide receivers, but they were either out, injured during the game, or maybe not at full strength. So thankfully for the Lions, they get by a very dangerous Bucs team. So I was looking at the standings just a little bit ago. A whole bunch of teams at the top of the NFC. The Lions are 5-2, Bucs 5-2, 49ers 5-2, Eagles and Seahawks both 5-2 as well. Green Bay actually with the best record by percentage. They're 4-1. Obviously, they have a tiebreaker right now over the Lions based on that season opening win. They had an early bye week, so they still got an extra game to play. After the bye, Detroit's going to come back. They're off this week. They've got a home game against the Vikings, who have not resembled last year's 14-3 team. Again, they let Sam Darnold walk. J.J. McCarthy's really struggled, then was injured. Carson Wentz is done fairly well, but they're just not clicking offensively the way they did last year when they were so dangerous. And then at the Commanders in that playoff rematch of last year, the Steel Harry Potter line, the game that shall not be talked about. That's on November 9th. The Commanders struggling a bit as well this season. They're just 3-4. Cowboys just put up 44 points on them on Sunday. And then at the Eagles, obviously the defending Super Bowl champs, they're 5-2, but they have struggled as well. That they could easily be 4-3 or even 3-4. They've pulled a couple games out of the fire. Remember that Rams game where they had a game-winning field goal attempt that was instead returned for a touchdown by the Eagles. They've stuck through a couple games, haven't been clicking. Saquon's the big reason. The run game, I don't think he's eclipsed this after getting 2,000 yards last season. I don't think he's eclipsed 80 yards in a game yet. So the running game is just not resembled last year's juggernaut. The pass, look, they had a big game passing last week. Jalen Hurts, both Devontae Smith, I think he had about $180. A.J. Brown over 100 and a couple touchdowns. Did some damage last week, but they've been really they're just not clicking offensively. But we'll have to see how that goes. So that's the next three games for the Lions coming out of the bye week. The rest of the week. That's what I love about sports, especially in Michigan, where there's just always something going on. Pistons with their season opener at the Bulls. That's on Wednesday night. I believe that's an 8 o'clock start. Detroit, of course, winning 44 games last year. That was a 30-game improvement. I think Detroit, the only team in NBA history to triple their win total from the prior season. Sixth or seventh largest improvement in wins in NBA history. They will begin the season without Jaden Ivey, who has right knee discomfort and is going to miss approximately the first 3 weeks of the season, it looks like, if all goes well. Your Detroit Red Wings off to a 5-1-0 start. They play Wednesday as well in Buffalo as they try to get going on ending that ugly 9-season playoff drought. I know that when you grew up, it was death taxes and the Red Wings in the playoffs, and it was that way for me when I got here in 2007, where every year it was like deep Pistons postseason run, deep Red Wings postseason run. It was a beautiful thing. What was it, April in the D? Remember it was Fox Sports Detroit, and they had that great April in the D advertising campaign. As a sports guy, it was great to know that you could have all that extra content into May and sometimes June, if the Pistons made a run. Who else has jumped on here? Hi, Bernice. Bernice Mason, good afternoon. Good to see you, Andy. Thank you so much. Happy Tuesday to you as well. From St. Joe. I appreciate it, Bernice. I think a lot of folks, in St. Joe's kind of weird. It's technically outside of our viewing area, but you can get News Channel 3. But I think also when you get down on the lakeshore, at a certain point, people can pick up and sometimes watch South Bend. We have an affiliate down there as well. So if you watch our Football Fever show, you'll see usually one or two games at the end of the show, like when we have PC play at St. Joe or Portage Northern play at Lakeshore or something like that. We can get games from them, and we swap with them as well since those teams are obviously in the SMAC. So a beautiful relationship right there. Sticking with hockey, Western staying at number 2 in the national rankings. They obviously lost their disappointing season opening loss to Ferris State. They then rebounded to win the following night up in Big Rapids. And then this past weekend, they went to Massachusetts and swept UMass Lowell. So 3-1-0 on the young season, second in the national rankings. And let's hear it for the Mitten State, because right now, Michigan State, number 1 in the rankings, WMU, number 2, Michigan, the Wolverines, ranked 3rd. That's incredible. Top 3 teams. Speaking of segue, Western with a home-and-home series with the Wolverines starting on Thursday. So Thursday in Ann Arbor, and then Friday back inside Lawson Arena. So great sports week shaping up. And then Saturday, a matchup that you may have heard something about, 25th ranked Michigan jumping back into the national rankings after beating a pretty good Washington team. They're 25th in the polls against an MSU team that is, will be polite and say, scuffling. They've lost 4 straight, and it's not just the fact that they're losing the midway point of the Jonathan Smith era, or year 2 of the Jonathan Smith era. They're getting blown out. And so there's already rumblings. People with quick triggers these days when it comes to coaches and all the money involved at the highest levels of college football these days, and not suggesting his job's on the line, but boosters speak, and you really need to see some improvement in the second half of this season as we wrap up year 2 of the Jonathan Smith era. That game in East Lansing, 7:30 kick, I believe, on NBC. They advertise that as their start time. Probably kick shortly after that. Michigan obviously dominating the last few years since that huge game in East Lansing. What were they, both 7-0 about 4 years ago when they had Kenneth Walker? I was in the house for that. That was a fantastic football game. So yeah, great week on tap. I wish the Tigers were still playing. They're not. The Blue Jays punching their ticket to the World Series, first time since 1993, with a Game 7 win last night of the Mariners. I was kind of rooting for the Mariners. I like it when teams who have never reached a World Series, a Super Bowl, NBA Finals, whatever, make their first trip. So it didn't happen for Seattle, though, unfortunately. What else we got going this week as I look at my cobbled together notes? Hello, Peggy. Yes, the Lions did win last night, 24-9. I think you can, after I post this, you can rewind it if you want to listen. So an emphatic win as they improved to 5-2. They are off this weekend, though. It's their week 8 bye. Bernice says that's right. What about the watching the South Bend affiliates? You probably get both, right? Some folks can get on the border areas, can get Channel 3, and they can get some South Bend stations as well. What else do we have tonight? Soccer, big week for high school boys soccer. We don't have a ton of teams from our slice of West Michigan, as I like to say, Southern Tier. Top-ranked Portage Central does play tonight up in Hudsonville against Midland Dow. I should have looked this up before I came on, or maybe did Midland Dow beat the girls? I just feel like this is a matchup I've seen in the past, or at least I'm familiar with Midland Dow. They knocked out one of our locals last year, but maybe I'm thinking of the spring season and the girls. But they play tonight at 7 o'clock, and if they win, they'll advance to the regional finals on Thursday at 6. We got some games in town, Division II action, Edwardsburg and Plainwell, 5 o'clock tonight at Portage Central. I think I'm going to shoot that one. And then on Thursday, the regional final, whoever advances, that'll be, I don't know why they're going to switch venues, but they're going to be at Matawan on Thursday at 6 o'clock for that regional final. Division III, South Haven still alive against Grand Rapids North Point Christian. They're playing in Fenville. Hartford also playing in the nightcap at 7 o'clock in Fenville as well. And then back in town, Division IV, Bangor and New Buffalo. Bangor scuffled this year, but somehow they won their district and they're still alive in regionals. That's a 5 o'clock start at Portage Northern. They're great complex. And then at 7, the K Christian boys taking on Granville Kelvin Christian as well. So we're going to get at least a couple of those games, and then we'll see, obviously, who advances and what we're able to get you on Thursday. And that brings us to Bernice, let me know everything. WNDU 16 News. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Bernice, I'll be on Facebook Live. I'm going to start. I said this at the beginning. I was doing these sporadically on Wednesdays Today I'm working a Tuesday day shift instead of a Wednesday day shift because it's my daughter's 5th birthday, so I can be home tonight for dinner and the party. But I'm going to try to do these every Wednesday, late morning, early afternoon, at least through the end of the calendar year. Friday, high school football, obviously. Week 9, final week of the regular season. So a big week for a lot of area teams that want to punch their ticket to the playoffs. It used to be 6 wins and you were in, period. And a lot of 5 teams would qualify depending on the division and how many, if there wasn't enough 6-win teams, then some 5-win teams get in. But now they've got a whole point system that coaches can follow, and you can pretty much figure out if you're going to get in prior to Sunday's announcement of the playoff field on Bally's. I still want to face Fox Sports Detroit. Those are the days. Our game of the week, Otsego at Plainwell, 65% of the vote. The K Central Loynorks, great city rivalry, 29.8% of the vote. And then probably what was the best game, 6-2 United at 7-1 Schoolcraft, only getting 5% of the vote. But Otsego at Plainwell, that's just a great historic rivalry. One of the longest running in the state. Not oldest, but one of the longest by the amount of times they've played, basically. I always have to look that up every year. Rookie mistake. My phone's ringing. Send that to voicemail. By the way, if you ever apply for a mortgage, the credit card companies sell your info and let other people know, and you get 60 to 70 calls a day. I'm not exaggerating. Boom, voicemail. Fun fact. All right, so that's what we got on tap for you. We got Pistons season opener. We got Red Wings playing great. Western with that big number 2 versus number 3 hockey matchup on Thursday and Friday. You got the big Michigan State game on Saturday. Lions in fantastic shape as they head into the bye week. High school football, full show, football fever on Friday. And then we'll have one more full, complete show for the first week of the playoffs. And then we start to lose a lot of teams, and we'll narrow it down, and we'll still cover a lot of teams, but not the full football fever show. But we're heading into a great time of year, where we're starting to crown some high school state championships. I'm excited about to see who may get to Ford Field. We've got some real good A-player teams. Martin's undefeated. They had won back-to-back state championships 3 years ago. Championship did not win it last year in spot to make a run from perhaps a 3rd state title in 4 seasons. Mendon looks absolutely fantastic. They're undefeated. They just beat a very good Climax Scots team in our week 8 game of the week. They're hoping to make a run up to Marquette, which I have loved traveling to a couple of times the last 5 or 6 years. I went up one year when Martin and Mendon were playing in the two championship games up there in the Uper Dome, and I went several years ago when Colin won a state championship as well. So long trip, but a beautiful trip. It's just beautiful to drive up through the UP and then watch some football up there the week before Thanksgiving. We got volleyball state championships coming up. That same weekend, actually, the week before Thanksgiving. And then, of course, Thanksgiving weekend, Ford Field, 2 days, 8 games. So we got a lot coming up that I am pretty excited about. It is a wonderful time of the year. Anyone else pop in? Nobody else. All right. Look, how long we've been jabbering here? I think it tells me somewhere on here. 18 minutes, 50 seconds. All right, almost 20 minutes. Again, I'm trying to get on here. I don't have an exact time. It just depends on what I have going on. But late morning, early afternoon on Wednesdays from now on, moving forward. If you have any questions, comments ever, hit me up on my personal Facebook, my WWMT Facebook page, my Twitter at apepper, WWMT, the email. I think that's everything. apepper@sbgtv.com. Glad to help you. A lot of folks say, why didn't you cover this? Why didn't you cover this? There's usually a good reason. We don't have the manpower a lot of the times, or we have to make tough decisions, between getting this or this. And I'll be honest, I second guess myself a lot because, there's so many good things that we'd like to get and can't. So that's it. That's all. Thanks for hopping on. And thank you to Bernice and Peggy and Jeanette. And thank you, Bernice. You have a blessed day as well. That'll do it for us. Have a great Tuesday, and I will see you next week.